Hello, I am Graham Horton and welcome to this video. A little departure from my usual review of photographic products. I've got a new entrance into the smart home AI lighting scene from the company Neewer. Now you've seen Neewer products advertised on this channel before. I've reviewed quite a few of their cob lights, their ring lights and their panel lights, and they've all been good value for money and exceptional longevity. Neewer asked me if I would like to review their new NF01 floor light, which is an AI lighting solution. If you like, it's their new push into this AI smart home lighting scene. And to back that up, they've even come out with their own NEEWER Home App to control the lamp. It's different to the Neewer app, which we're normally used to using for our flash guns and ring lights, etc. So you would need to download the Neewer Home App to control this lamp if you want to get the full features. Well, you can of course use the included wireless controller, 2.4 gigahertz control, so it won't work with a 5 gigahertz router. It will only work with the 2.4 gigahertz, but does give you some functionality to control the lamp in terms of intensity, color, temperature and some of the lighting effects. And that gives you access to things like the Google Assistant or Alexa, where you can actually use voice commands to set up the lamp and change different scenes. There are 50 plus scenes in the scene modes, and they're broken down into various groups that you can find the particular scene that you want. There's also a facility within this lamp to program it yourself. Now, there are lamps on the market like this one I have here, which do give you some colored effects, and you can cycle through some of the changes that you can make with these lamps. But they need a dedicated processor to do that, so you're limited to whatever the manufacturer has supplied you with. But with a Neewer lamp, you can actually program your own custom features. The program is made easier for the fact that this is a lamp where the LEDs are grouped into packs of 6, and there are 10 groups within the whole lamp. The lamp itself is 1.6 meters high, and that's about 63 inches, and the base, which holds the controls, is 16 centimeters diameter. That's about 6.3 inches. So the whole of the AI engine is contained within the base, and then you get functionality by using either remote control or by using that Neewer Home app. From that, you can select the lighting effects you want and program your own. I say the groups are in packs of 6, and there are 10 of them within the lamp. So by individually addressing each of those groups, you can set different lighting colors and different patterns. So it's very easy to program this yourself or use any of the 50 presets that come with this lamp. Well, enough of that description. Let's see what you get when you unpack this device, and I'll take you through the steps of assembling this, connecting it to the Home app and getting some lighting effects. Now, there are instructions within the instruction manual for how to assemble the lamp. It's very easy to do. You're even given all the tools you need, and a neat feature is the screwdriver provided is a magnetic tip as well, so that you're not likely to drop the screws when you're trying to assemble this. It is a little bit touchy in parts where you need to get that neoprene sleeve into the lamp itself, but the general construction is good, and the lamp stands vertical and there's no joint play, and it does stand vertical. There's no bend in the pole. So really nice engineered design. So let's assemble it and let's connect it to the app. So here you can see the complete package, and I think it shows Neewer's presentation reflects their drive for complete customer satisfaction. So in the package you'll find the base, the remote control, you get a screwdriver, the brackets and all the screws, and then the 3-section aluminium poles which are fastened together to complete the 1.6 meter tube of this light. Also get the power brick and the LED assembly. So here you can see the method by which the 3 tubes are assembled. You get a bracket which slides into the center section of each of the tubes, and they're secured by 2 screws, and fortunately the screwdriver has a magnetic tip which enables you to screw those in without fear of dropping the screws. Here's the completed assembly. So you've got the 3 tubes joined by the 2 brackets. That 3-section tube then is assembled onto the base, again sliding it over the fixture bracket, and again is attached by using 2 screws, again fixed with the magnetic tip screwdriver. Just make sure everything's tight. Now assembling the silicone tube which contains the LEDs. The plugs must be connected together, the red to red, etc., and white to white. They are keyed, it won't go the wrong way around. Push that into the base of the lamp and then start to work that silicone tube into the aluminium section. Squeeze it on either side to get it started and then just tuck it in to get a couple of inches of it supported. Then you need to go to the top of the lamp and again squeeze the tip of the tube into the aluminium tube and then secure about halfway down, and then work your way from the top down again to the middle section, pushing that sleeve inside the aluminium tube. You might have to just squeeze it a little bit and push it a little bit to get it to fit, but it does eventually fit in there without any gaps down the side of the tube. Once you've done the top section, you can then continue along the bottom and making sure that silicone sleeve is completely inserted into the aluminium tube. Just takes a few minutes and a bit of patience to get that in there, but once it is, it's neat and does not show any gaps down the side of the tube. So there we are, that is the LEDs inserted into the aluminium tube. We can now plug in the 24 volt 1.5 amp power supply, push the barrel plug into the base of the lamp there, and then connect the power brick to your wall socket. It's about 1.5 meters of cable. Once you plug that in, it will start up and go through its power on sequence. And you can see here the range of brightness is from 1800 Kelvin, which is far warmer than any traditional LED lighting. So we can go from 1800 all the way up to 6500, which is a cool white. And we can set to, say, 6500, which would be traditional. So we can actually swing from 6500 Kelvin all the way down to 1800 Kelvin, or we can go to our normal daylight, which we would set to something like 5600. Under the color mode, you can either have segment or full spectrum. If you're in segment, then you can see that we can break this down into 10 blocks. So you can actually color each block dependent on your color theme. There are some suggested color spectrums there. So if I wanted the cyan, white, purple, just touch that. If we go back to the block, you can see that it's changed it. But you can actually color your own. So if I wanted red and blue, then I can select my first color, and let's make sure that's red. Confirm, and then I can tap the block, change that to red. I can check each individual block like so, and then if I want to change the others to blue, confirm, then I can tap the other blocks, and you can see that's mimicked on the wall behind. You can have gradient on, which smooths the transition between each of the blocks, or turn it off. If we go into full spectrum, then we can change the light to show me the color that I want. So if they're all red, I can select red or amber, blue, cyan, green, yellow, etc. Or I can actually change the individual colors by using the slider here to select the color that I want, and the saturation. So you can change it to any of the 16 million colours you can define with this thing. We've got scene modes. I'll just take a couple here. So we've got, say for example, flame effect. We've got autumn, deep sea, and these are grouped into natural, life, festive, or emotional, sport. So we wanted to Manchester soccer, that would be in the red and yellow colour, etc. Under music, you can have this beat to your music. So from your device, which would be the microphone on the base of the unit, or from music on your phone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see how it responds, and you can change the speed at which the action takes place. So in fast, you can see the decay of the light is very quick. I turn it down to slow. You can see that it's much slower in the decay. And you've got sensitivity to adjust for the level of intensity of the music. And again, you can change from gradient to solid colour. You've got the DIY mode, and again, you can add your own particular colour. So you can preview it. You can add sections to it. You can also use this to generate a lighting effect by voice. So by holding the bottom option there, Manchester on a rainy day. So with the remote controller, you can turn on and turn off this light. So at the moment it's on, it's at full brightness and the coolest color temperature. Now you can use a hand controller to change the color temperature. And now I'll go from the coolest temperature to the warmest temperature. So you can swing it through from 6500 all the way down to 1800 Kelvin, which is far warmer than any traditional LED lighting. So you can get this nice, rich, orange coloured light, if you like, for your productions. And then you can bring this back up to more like the daylight of 6500. We've also got some special effects on here. So this is a multi effect. It's going to cycle through the colours. And again, you can adjust the intensity. So using the intensity control, you can drop the intensity if you like. If that's too bright for your ambient light, you can drop it down to give you the brightness you want, or you can turn it up to full brightness. The next mode is the random mode. There's a mode called breathe. One called flash. And one called strobe. Or you can have a fixed colour. You can change the colour by using the center button. So we go change the colours. But the real control of this lamp comes with the NEEWER Home App. The 1800 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin is an extended range. Not many lights will go below 2700 Kelvin, the normal tungsten light range, but this will go down to that very, very warm looking 1800 Kelvin and then go beyond daylight up to the cooler 6500 K. So a very versatile light, providing the ambient lighting that you might want. And don't forget, you've got all the static modes and all the dynamic modes. You can tune it into music and then add vibrance to some of your backgrounds. It's a fantastic lamp to be able to work with. Well, a full disclaimer, Neewer did send me this lamp for review for you, but of course my reviews are independent and I really have got free rein as to what I say and cannot say in these videos. Neewer haven't seen this before it's been published. So if there are any problems with the lamp, and I haven't really found any at the moment, then you would hear about them in my videos. Well, that's my review of the Neewer NF01 floor lamp. Hope you found that interesting. I'll put links to this lamp in the video description below. In the UK, it's just $59.99 at the moment at the time of launch. Hopefully there are going to be new products from Neewer in this selective marketplace. And if there are, I hope to be able to bring you reviews of those as they come into the market. If you're a new viewer and you like this review, why not hit the subscribe button and then you'll be notified when I upload any new videos to my channel, and do enjoy.